Can I first of all echo the points which have been made by the previous speaker, that as the implications of the protocol become more and more apparent, it is quite clear that the promises that were made to people in Northern Ireland, that they could still trade as freely with GB as they did before the 1st of January, and that they would be regarded as fully part of the UK internal market, is not true. There is a border on the Irish Sea. There is a disruption of trade between Northern Ireland and GB and vice versa. And whilst the Prime Minister and the Government will still maintain that the union between Northern Ireland and the rest of the United Kingdom has not been affected, the truth of the matter is that people in Northern Ireland are not experiencing the full benefits of being United Kingdom citizens that they had before the 31st of January. And indeed, this legislation today illustrates some of the issues which are still going to be faced by people and businesses in Northern Ireland. And I welcome the fact that the Government has tried at least to overcome some of the implications of the protocol. But I've got to say to you, Minister, that this kind of tinkering that there is through these VAT regulations will not answer the issues which people in Northern Ireland face. Let me just go through some of the issues which are being dealt with in this. First of all, the DIY builders and claiming back VAT, and the fact that if they bring in materials, probably most commonly in Northern Ireland, from the Irish Republic, which are subject to VAT, that they can be able to claim back the VAT on that. I'd like to ask the Minister, first of all, what assessment has been done of the additional work which anyone will have to undertake in order to show the VAT which has been payable in the Irish Republic or indeed in some other EU member state, so that it can be claimed back under the regulations which we have here. Because don't forget, this is DIY builders we're talking about. I can think of a constituent of mine just this week who came to me because of the delay in the payment of the VAT, which he was owed, the refund which he was owed on a house which he had built over a period of years. As the money came available to him, he built more and more of the house, and the VAT was outstanding. And even with the current regime, the amount of paperwork involved in that was quite substantial. But he was doing it by himself. He wasn't a professional. Now we've got this added complication. Other members have talked about the need for clarification. What clarification will there be to people who are in that situation as to what information they need to gather and the way in which it is gathered? The second thing I would ask about is the supply of goods into Northern Ireland and the VAT which is required to be paid on them if they are moving on into the EU, and the fact that VAT can be refunded where the goods are staying in Northern Ireland, although they might have been vatable. And I can think of, again, another example which has been brought to me this week by people who are involved in the aerospace industry in Northern Ireland, where they bring in aluminium from GB. That they have to pay the VAT on that aluminium because under the protocol it is now coming into a part of the United Kingdom which is deemed to be subject to the EU VAT regime. And when that aluminium goes into aircraft parts, the aircraft parts don't have any VAT on them. But until it goes into the parts and the parts are sold, they're obliged to pay out the VAT on it. And that, of course, can be quite substantial amounts of money. It causes cash flow problems. It leads to additional administration. And I'm not so sure that what is provided for in this legislation today actually deals with that problem. Because until they can show that either it's been incorporated into the parts or that those parts are not going somewhere where they're eligible for European taxes, then they have to make the payments. I think that the Minister is right that we have to close the loophole between Northern Ireland and GB for those who would seek to use Northern Ireland as a backdoor to escape paying VAT on goods which may be zero rated in the United Kingdom. But again, could I ask the Minister, what will that mean in terms of checks of goods coming through Northern Ireland ports to GB? How will it be distinguished that those goods have not originated in the Republic as opposed to Northern Ireland? Will all Northern Ireland suppliers of goods into GB have to show that and go through a process to show that the goods were made in Northern Ireland, were therefore exempt from the VAT, or had UK VAT rates applied to them? What additional checks and administrative burdens is that going to cause businesses to have? Now, I raise these issues, and I've got to say that in relation to how HMRC has handled this, all of the information I have from the Department of the Economy in Northern Ireland is that businesses are still confused. They don't know what is required of them. They don't know what paperwork is going to be required, or how they claim exemptions, etc. And I do think there's a huge piece of work to be done. But all of and I come to the point, and despite what the Scottish National Party spokesperson has said, to hang on to this protocol, which is damaging relations within Northern Ireland, which is damaging the Northern Ireland economy, which is adding substantially, and this legislation today shows that there will be additional requirements of businesses in Northern Ireland, which make trading more expensive. The protocol is not some advantage or not some gift, as the Scottish National Party would seek to try and present it to the people of Northern Ireland. It's poison to the people of Northern Ireland. It has poisoned relationships. And my own constituency of Mid and East Antrim, we're now finding that workers are under threat at the ports. Such is the frustration and anger, something which was never ever taken into consideration when the Unionist population of Northern Ireland were cynically set aside in order to get a quick deal with the EU on the basis that the important border was a border between Northern Ireland and the Republic, rather than the relationship which Northern Ireland has with its own country. And I would just ask the Minister, what are the implications for people who build their own houses and are claiming VAT and are bringing supplies in from presumably mostly the Irish Republic? What are the administrative implications for them? What are the implications for those businesses which are bringing supplies in from GB and for which VAT will have to be paid and then can be reclaimed at some later date? What exemptions can be made where it is quite clear the goods are not going into the EU, or the goods are going into the materials are going into something which will never be vatable anyhow? How can we overcome that issue? And if the government is going to close Northern Ireland as a back door into GB for those products from the European Union which are being sent through and routed through Northern Ireland in order to avoid UK taxes, what implications, if any, does that have to suppliers in Northern Ireland? And if it has no implications, then how does the government intend that there will be distinction made between those goods which are coming through the Republic into Northern Ireland, as opposed to those goods which are going purely from Northern Ireland to GB. I would implore the Minister to take this message back, that as far as the protocol is concerned, we can have this continual tinkering, but it will not deal with the underlying systemic problems and fundamental problems which are contained in the protocol, namely that Northern Ireland is still subject to a large amount of law which originates outside its own country, which eats into the very heart of economic activity, and which undermines Northern Ireland's constitutional position within the United Kingdom.